Critical Role Recap Season 2, Episode 56. So last week, the Mighty Nein tracked down the incubus and succubus through the well hole, where they found a cavern with an abyssal rift device that was creating rifts, and a giant horned abyssal demon stepped out, which they killed along with the incubus and succubus. They used one of their 2 diamonds through Jester's ability to resurrect. This week, we started off with them taking the proof of the deed that they had done to the local head of state in Asarius, the city of beasts. She said, "Awesome, thank you, basically. I believe that you've done your job. What do you want from me?" They said, "We'll take one favor, please." And she said, "Fine, I'll do that. Here is about 2,000 gold, because it was a 10,000 gold reward, and then the favor itself is worth about 8,000 gold. They picked up their moorbounders and then made their way to the agreed upon meeting area, and they found out that they would be using a teleportation chamber, essentially. So they walked onto it with their beasts and were teleported into the Hall of the Queen of Light, where they would meet and try and ask for the favor that they wanted. Basically, the 8,000 gold was to get them an audience with the Queen of Light. They spent about an hour sitting in a waiting room where they interacted with another drow who seemed to kind of be a little off-put by their presence. I had come with them through the portal and was at the City of Beasts originally with them and seemed a little wary of them in some way, but they couldn't quite figure out what was up his butt. They waited for about an hour, and then they were received by the Queen of Light and like her entire court. They had decided that they were going to skirt the edge of truth by saying that they were hired by someone to track down this person, this alchemist, who we know is Not's husband, but they were claiming is just an alchemist of some repute, in order to try and cure some ailment that he had caused through his research. While trying to get out this story of theirs, they were also asked some questions about their own origins and who they were exactly. And through some not so great persuasion rolls and deception rolls, the queen caught on to the fact that it was bullshit, essentially, and started to distrust them, at which point the drow that had traveled with them from the City of Beasts came in and was like, "These people were fighting with the Imperial scum, and I fought against them, and they nearly killed me not 2 weeks ago." So apparently the guy that had come along with them was one of the Kreen that they had fought against in their initial excursion when they had been meeting up with the Muckmen, the scouting troops, when they first got into the Empire's realm, and he had seen their faces and fought against them. Ford tried to get out of it by saying, "Oh, well, we were attacked on both sides, actually. We weren't fighting for the Empire or against the dynasty. We just ended up getting caught in the middle." And it didn't go over so well, and then basically the queen was like, "Okay, arrest them." And so guards started to pour in, and the Mighty Nein decided not to fight, and at first they were just going to give up and surrender, because the thought process from Ford at least was, well, Not's husband is probably kept in jail too, maybe they could just find him and break their own way out. Caleb wasn't so sure about that, and so he ended up offering up the famous dodecahedron that they have been carrying around since basically the beginning of the entire show. They knew the Kreen wanted for something, and it seemed to be some sort of holy relic for them, but they still do not understand what it does or how it works. When it was revealed, immediately all of the soldiers dropped their weapons, and basically everyone just kind of stopped and stared, and the queen began to cry. Basically, it is a very holy symbol that somehow has to do is like a core part of their religion. They use its iconography all over the place, and so it's an extremely important relic to them, and essentially they handed it over to her at the end of the episode, and she was like, "You may not be an ally of the Empire, but you certainly are one of the dynasty now." They have effectively defected from the Empire and joined forces with the dynasty, at least for now. The implications of this are pretty huge. Even Matt himself was like, "I'm gonna have to spend some time to think about where we take the story from here," because that is not at all what I was expecting. However, there is a week off. Next week there will be no show, so Matt has some extra time to decide where to take the story from here. But yeah, that's about it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.